Welcome to the Money Matters EmpowerHer podcast, where we're redefining what financial independence looks like for women. I'm your host, Donna Cates, and each week we'll dive into powerful stories, expert strategies, and practical tools to help you take charge of your financial future. The women sharing their journeys here aren't just telling stories, they're change makers. Their experiences, strategies, and financial outlooks carry real power to inspire transformation in your own life. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating a divorce, or simply looking to build your wealth with confidence, this is your space to grow, learn, and thrive. Let's get started with today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Money Matters EmpowerHer podcast. This is where we have honest, uplifting conversations that inspire women to grow their influence, navigate life's pivots with courage, and build a life and wealth that reflects who they really are. So I'm your host, Donna Cates, and today I'm honored to be joined by Caryn Corenblum, who owns an Intuitive Edge Coaching and Learning. Now, Caryn and I go way back. I was introduced to her by a dear friend years ago, and I know firsthand that Caryn is doing some extraordinary work in the world. And I can't wait for you to hear her story and how she got there, what she's learned along the way, and how she's helping other people rise as they grow their own wealth and purpose. So let's start, Caryn, with the heart of it all. Please take about 90 seconds and share with us what it is that you do, and more importantly, why you're doing it. What's the mission behind your work?
Oh, thank you so much, Donna. So, I am an executive leadership life coach and a licensed independent clinical social worker. I practice as a coach, which means I do in person and online sessions, and I assist people to change, yes, change, in the direction that they want to change in, to be the next version of themselves, to be who they want to be, not what other people say how they should be, but how they truly want to be authentically, who they really are, and to work on accepting all those parts of themselves and to be strong and powerful and compassionate and kind. Those are my clients.
Okay, awesome. Well, and I will share. Like I said, we go back a little ways, and I know, coaching, especially executive coaching, life coaching, divorce coaching, a lot of these are newer professions. I say newer, 10, 15 years, but Caryn's been doing this for much longer than that. I would love to hear a little bit about your backstory. Like, was there a moment or maybe a struggle that led you to this work, something that shifted your path or changed how you saw your purpose?
Yes, there was. So, yeah, there were a couple major things that occurred. I was a accounting major, and then I went directly into law school and became a lawyer, practicing lawyer. It was really difficult to find a job as a lawyer in 1983 because I'm married to a lawyer, and so it was hard back then. I remember getting tons of rejection letters, and I was new to Birmingham. I went to Emory. I met my husband, and we moved here because he grew up here, and he wanted to come here, and I said, we'll give it a try. But that part of it was really difficult, but I managed to. I got a job in an accounting firm, and then I was legal counsel for an employee benefits consulting firm, and then I had to be on bed rest because I lost a baby,
Mm.
and the next baby I had to be in the bed. So after that, that was a big shakeup in my life, and with my partner, my husband, working as a lawyer way back then. This is like 45 years ago, maybe, 40 something years ago. I have to do the math later, but decades ago, lawyers worked so long, so many hours, and there was still this drive in me to, I knew I could succeed as a lawyer. I wanted to do estate planning, which is an intimate, like, very akin to the work that you do with families, with women, that's where I was going. And when I lost that baby, I really wanted to be a parent and a mom, and I knew that somebody had to be home, and it wasn't going to be my husband, because, and so it would be me. So I did a pivot. I changed. And it wasn't like, oh, I had to. I kind of followed what was inside of me. And I had, through my volunteer work, become part of this group on conflict resolution and that kind of work. And so I entered into that field for the National Conference of Christians and Jews, and I ran kind of like workshops on conflict resolution and inclusion. And so doing that work, that led me to really understanding or beginning to be really curious about people's stories, about their pain, about what they wanted to contribute, about leadership. And from there, I went to the University of Alabama to get my master's in social work and got my clinical license. And then I went right into coaching. And I chose coaching because it was more of a co-partnership with my clients rather than expertise. And that's really how I felt more comfortable working with people in partnership with them,
And I
assisting.
love that. I love and
Yeah.
just because I can totally relate. It's kind of like we're in a position where we are expert in what we do, and that's what we do is we coach people on how to do the best that we know that they can do. But it always is so much more impactful and meaningful to the recipient if they're involved in the conversation, not being lectured to, but engaged, don't you see?
100%. And that's really what people want, is to find their own agency, their own voice, their own actions. And there's a lot of, you know, to do that, it takes a little bit of art, of craft. It if people could be who they wanted to be, they would do it. But we can't always. We can't always. There's blocks, and there's good reasons
There's a
for
lot of
the.
that where we're literally, and not to sound negative, but we can be our own worst enemy because we put up the roadblocks, we put up the resistance, and it's, I think, for me, having a professional help me recognize those. I mean, they're there, I know what they are, but to call them out and say, okay, what can we do to pivot around this or get out of our own way? That's really valuable because sometimes we're too close to it to see it.
Right. Absolutely. And sometimes we think it's a bigger monster than it really is. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, that's normal. Well, of course you're going to be that given the history that
Mhm.
given what happened. And so, yeah, I like what you said. We're hard on ourselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
When there's no one there to be with us, it's easy to be hard on ourselves.
Absolutely.
When there's another other witness or with somebody with you, just being with you, not fixing you, not telling you what
Mhm.
to do next, things open up and possibilities unfold. It's it sounds a little crazy, but I'm so glad I'm here now because that's what's happened for me and continues to happen for me in my own experience. It's not just reading about this, but it's living it.
Right. And I think that's really important. And part of why I do this podcast is
Mm,
that we women, we're ambitious, we have all the things, we have
right.
the dreams, and a lot of times we kind of take the back seat to other priorities, not as a criticism, but just it's the way life is. A lot of times our plates are just too full. So, we're giving women a space to hear that it's okay to be stuck. It's okay to, feel like you don't know where you want to go or what have you.
Mm,
And that there are people, professionals especially, who are trained to help work with you so that you can fulfill your biggest dreams and aspirations, and even helping you identify what those are. Because I know for me, if you ask me what do I want to be doing in 5 years, uh, uh, I know now because I put a lot of thought behind it. But 10 years ago,
exactly. And even it's such a great point, Donna, because even as we evolve and grow, other things open up. So what we thought we might want to do 5 years ago might not be what we want to do now. And so speaking about it, living it, imagining it, um, that gets us there. Doesn't get us all the way there, but speaking it out to another person, it all of a sudden your dreams have more power.
absolutely. Well, I'm very curious to hear about the impact. We're talking about impact here and how you are actually empowering others, whether it's your clients, your team, or your community. How do you empower them to be the best versions of themselves? What is it that sets you apart from the next leadership coach?
Mm, such a great question. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so yeah, I would say that I'm a really good listener. So I work to get what the person really wants for themselves. It might be to leave a job, it might be to find a new job, it might be to leave a relationship. It might be I want to start dating. I've done all that with people. And I like leaving, finding or not finding, there's no agenda but the person's. So that's been really fun to bring people into more of who they are and how they want to live. And, there's been a couple of people, or actually more than a couple, several people that have become business owners, and doing it the way that they want to do it in the stage that they want to be living, and that I just enjoy being with people as they take the steps that they want to take in their journey and make life worth living, finding their purpose and finding meaning and surrounding themselves with the people that they want to surround themselves with.
Yeah. Well, and I can imagine that working with you is very empowering because my perception is that you're not coming with an agenda or a cookie cutter approach. You're
Mm.
literally tuning in and listening very well, and that's three-quarters of the battle. Most of us would prefer to talk than listen, but you're very good at hearing the nuances and pulling information out, and that I think is what probably sets you apart, is that deep interest in learning about that person, and helping them to see themselves. That's got to be very empowering for you. How's it feel when you're working with somebody and you see their face when the light bulb goes off?
Really, I love it, and we bring that into the light. And when you were talking, that made me realize too that one of the things that sets me apart too is that I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner and an inner relationship focusing professional. I'm almost certified in that. But I like doing is getting people into their internal experience. What's it like to be frustrated, angry, excited, curious, compassionate? What's that body state? So, because that's where the real changes happen. I love thinking, I love planning, love imagining, but really being into the feelings, how we feel now, with the thinking is how people shift, and especially how people shift those hard to shift patterns, the difficult to shift. That's what we really like doing. Once we get started, it's like, oh, where the client goes, there's something I want to say, but I'm realizing I don't say it. So we work with that part of themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it does to me because I've had personal
Right.
experience with the sitting, having the negative thought,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that might be, and sitting with how it feels in your body,
Right.
being okay with it, experiencing it, but then letting it go. But and saying, I'm choosing not to believe in that negative thought and replacing it with something else. And I know for me, I can physically feel the shift in my energy.
It
And that's the kind of thing that you're talking about. So for some people, it may sound a little woo woo, but our bodies are energy and we are energetic human beings.
Donna.
And it's real. It's real. So I get
It
it.
it's real. We are a body mind being. Our body has been with us every step of the way. So it has some intelligence. It it can tell us some things. The problem is out there everybody thinks this is king.
Mhm.
And so it's a new way of learning about ourselves
Mhm.
because this can really make up anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Been there, done that. Hmm.
Yeah, and so you know uh, the body wants the mind maybe is saying da 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 da, but then you develop capacity to be in the body, which might be not so much in congruence with what the mind is saying, and then we pause. We pause and slow down. So just working with people in that way so that they can really appreciate and own the more resources than they think they have, more resilience. You know, we're built for resilience. We're built to survive. And
Well, I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned recently has to do with listening to my body, because when I'm aching or something's not
nice.
working right, I'm sick, I'm run down, it literally is my body's intelligence telling me that something's not right and we need to slow down and fix it, or take time to figure out what's going on. So yeah, it makes way too much sense. And I think the unfortunate thing in this day and age is we're all 24/7. Nothing ever cuts off. So we're kind of in that same racing speed all of the time. So just coaching people on how to kind of take a minute and be calm and focus, I think is very impactful. Well, I want to shift. I want to ask you this question, because it's always interesting to see who people respond with. But if you could sit down to lunch with any woman, whether she's living or deceased, who would it be and why? What would you love to ask her?
Mm. 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 Okay. Mm.
And
Mm.
I always tell there's no right
I,
or wrong. It's usually people think of 15 people at one time, right?
I, you know, I, I really, I'm coming to know more and more Mary Oliver, who she's a poet. And I love her poems. They're a lot about nature, a lot about being. And so she just died, I think, during the pandemic.
Mm.
But her poems are just rich, and there's a lot of Mary Oliver fans. So
Mm.
I'm 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 beginning to know her more and more. So I would like to just talk to her and learn about her life.
That's awesome. Well, and I'm not familiar with her writings,
Oh,
but I know that if she's got a community, a following, that we definitely need to check her out for sure. Well, you have been a fabulous
oh,
guest, and I would love for our listeners who feel inspired to connect with you and learn more about you. Tell us where they can find you, how to reach out to you.
okay. I have a website. It's www.coachcaryn.com, and that's COACH, and then my name, Caryn, CARYN.com. And you can send an email there, or you can email me at Karen40 at me.com, and I'll respond, and we'll set up. We can do it like a 10-minute consult. I love people in the area. I love to work in person, or on the screen if you're too far away. So
That's
either
awesome.
way, that
Yeah, and I
works.
love that people have pivoted to being able to do
Yeah,
more virtual work.
right.
I like the close connection too, but it does open up so many more possibilities. So, but yeah, we appreciate you sharing your story with us, and the heartaches and the things that kind of you experience that put you in the position of deciding to be who you are today. So thank you for that, and I know that women are going to walk away, having renewed sense of possibility. So regardless of where you are in life, we appreciate you being here today. Share this with other people, give us a like. And until next time, keep rising, keep building, and keep believing in your power. Take
Mm.
care. Thank you for tuning in to the Money Matters Empower Her podcast. I hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired, informed, and ready to take the next step in your financial journey. Remember, building wealth isn't just about money, it's about creating a life that aligns with your goals and values. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with the women in your life who deserve financial empowerment too. Until next time, stay confident, stay empowered, and keep building the life you want.